I'm generally not prone to addictions. Neither food, nor drugs, nor adrenaline, etc. ever really hooked me. But there's one thing that absolutely sucks me in, and that is 4X games. If you don't know, 4X games are a subgenre of strategy games where you have to create the most powerful empire out of all of the players across 4 dimensions: exploration, exploitation, expansion, and extermination. It's basically a competition in the discipline of imperialism. Some games are turn-based, and in others time continues fluently, but you can stop it at any time. I've played many games in the genre, including Victoria 3, Stellaris, Old World, and I'm currently really enjoying Civilization 7. But none of these titles ever really sucked me in, made me addicted to it, and ruined my life to a degree, except one: Amplitude Studios' Humankind. Humankind is a game where you start in the Stone Age as a clan of hunter-gatherers and then settle down and found cities as you go through the ancient, classical, medieval, early modern, industrial, and contemporary age. Every age you can select a new culture to play as, or you can skip one of the changes if you want to. You can also skip all of the changes if you want to. The changes don't have to make sense in terms of real world history. You can go from the Egyptians to the Han Chinese to the Aztecs or Mexica and so on. You win the game by collecting fame stars in different domains like war, science, and economics. The player that has the most fame stars at the end of the game wins. I got Humankind when it came out in August of 2021 as part of the Xbox Game Pass. I had already played Amplitude's Endless Legend beforehand, but Humankind was a completely different beast. I also started my bachelor's degree in September of 2021, and God almighty do I wish Humankind hadn't been out yet. Funnily enough, my first 2 semesters weren't ruined by my addiction to this glorious piece of software, but in my 3rd or 4th semester the addiction really hit. I barely got any uni work done, maybe completing 3 total classes in my 3rd semester. Instead, I played Humankind, sometimes for 8 or 10 hours a day. Sometimes even getting really bored with it but still continuing. I was hypnotized. I had a kind of Humankind psychosis going on. On my old computer, I could play large maps only with lags, but that was how addicted I was. I played a lagging game for 8 hours at a time. At some point, I had to deinstall it for 3 weeks. But I had to go cold turkey several more times before the spell the game had over me finally broke. I kept playing it. Hell, I still play it sometimes today, but not as excessively anymore. So why did I get so addicted to it? I think there are several reasons for this. Number 1, I love history. Although I've never studied it at a university, I've read a lot about history in my free time and it's just my favorite subject. On the one hand because it's relatively easy to understand, and on the other hand because I just like seeing how things, people and countries develop. And historical 4X games like Humankind let you experience your own version of history. These games are history and story generators. That was one of the really positive aspects of me playing so much Humankind. It motivated me to read a lot of books about history. I think the game is pretty good at telling different stories through different geographies, levels of technological development, and diplomatic relationships. For example, I remember one game where I was technologically behind and didn't have tanks, but my brave soldaderas, the special unit of the Mexicans, fought off the enemy's tanks and stopped my empire from getting conquered. I also remember a game where I started out as a tiny, poor desert country without the option to expand, but then I was the first to settle the new world and grew insanely rich. Of course, not every game is as memorable as that, but every session has some unique quality to it. The second reason why I was addicted are the reward systems inherent to this game, but also games in general, even beyond video games. I don't know much about the neuroscience behind all of this, so I'm just going to explain it intuitively. Firstly, video games are games, so you can win or you can lose. Although these categories become very abstract in simulation-like games like Victoria, where the game explicitly tells you that you can't win or lose. But in most games, you can. And this alone can make you addicted to a degree. Think of ambitious athletes who want to be the best in their sport. I am sure they crave the success, validation and attention before they get it and become addicted to it as soon as they have it. And sports, at least with an audience, like video games, also contain signals that boost your feelings of success, like fans chanting or cheering after you score, or even you being given a trophy if you win a tournament or something. And video games have similar systems. You're often shown bright lights and appealing sounds when you level up, finish a level, or win the game. These signals give you a positive feeling and make your brain crave more of that positive feeling, just like a lab rat getting sugar or cocaine or something. The third reason why I got so addicted was only unlocked after I got a second screen. Because playing a 4X game and doing nothing else is already really fun, but these games are perfectly suited to watch a video or listen to a podcast while you're playing. The reason for this is that these games are not as hectic or don't demand your attention as much as, let's say, an FPS shooter. You can pause the game or leave it idle, follow whatever you are watching a bit closer if some part of it is especially interesting to you at a given moment. I sometimes was playing Humankind or another 4X game and watching a series or YouTube video and thought to myself, this is heaven. This is as good as it gets. The fourth reason why I got so addicted are psychological problems. Addiction usually doesn't arise on its own, and at the time of me playing so much Humankind, I was struggling with depression, low self-esteem and loneliness. I remember my super extroverted flatmate at the time having a 3-day birthday bash in her room and me sitting alone next door, hearing all the laughter and joy from the other room while playing Humankind. It was a sad time. I mean, I could have joined them, but I didn't. Strange behavior, really. Anyway, I think that the subsiding of my addiction also correlated with my psyche getting better, meeting new people and me being less lonely and having found more events to go to in the area I had moved to at the time. Although my Humankind addiction was kind of a waste of time and also held back my academic success, it was pretty mild compared to many other addiction stories you can find here on YouTube. I guess an advantage of video game addiction is that you don't literally inject a substance into your body that it then craves physiologically. Although this might not be so important when looking at heavy video game addiction. Maybe it really is just as bad as heroin, etc. in those cases. I do not know, and I'm no expert on this topic. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I might see you in the next one. Bye.